Tonight's Dharma talk is leaving your ego at the door. When I was a boy growing up doing judo, that was one of the things that my sensei would tell me when we would come in and bow to come into the dojo, is that you're leaving your ego at the door. And I think it's a fascinating to think about what it would be like to leave your ego actually behind and not have it with you for a time being. Because I do believe that when we come in here, that your ego doesn't get left behind, that you actually are sitting with your ego, and there's a choice that you make to sit in zazen or seated meditation. And so when you're sitting with your ego, there's something that you made a choice to be here from a different place than your ego. Your ego can have all the story and the thinking that it wants, but yet you still sit still and not move and follow your breath and return back to your breath. And so that we're training to be with our ego and not let our ego actually, as they say, like drive the bus. And through sitting and practicing daily and in Sangha, that it gets easier and easier to not have the ego be the front of who you are and identified by that. And as I was thinking about this more and sitting with it more, that 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 your ego, being neurodivergent, having PTSD, all these things that live inside the mind, that you can't leave them behind, but it's how you actually relate to them and how you have a relationship with them. And so in my men's group, there was a gentleman that is working with PTSD, and I told him, we're not trying to stop it, we're trying to have a relationship with it differently than you've ever had it. Because he thought he had to like get rid of PTSD. But I really feel it's a lot like the ego in the ability to use the ego and have a relationship with it, but not let it drive the bus throughout your day. When the ego's driving the bus, you're led by pressure, you're led by fear, you're led by wounds of your past, and you're getting triggered a lot. And as you sit and train and practice, you'll notice that the ego will want to come in when you're having conversation or being in relationship with others, and you'll watch it instead of reacting from it and being responsive from it. And so the training of seated meditation is really the relationship with your ego and listening to your body and the feelings that are happening in your body, from your intuition or gut instinct to your emotions in your body, and not letting your mind be so loud that you suppress them, deny them, or ignore what's happening from the neck down. Last week I was talking about the part of sitting with in seated meditation is about the willingness to feel your body. And so you have the ego operating and you're feeling your body at the same time. So though we say to leave our ego at the door, we're really bringing the ego in here, and there's a choice that you're making not to be responsive to the ego. Like an example for me is that I'll have an itch, and my mind will tell me to itch somewhere on my body, and I'll choose not to. And I'll just notice the itch, but I won't respond to it. And sometimes I will. So it's just the dynamic of responding to it or not responding to it. And that's what it's like when you are in relationship with the ego. Sometimes you'll respond to it and you'll like, man, being in with Amber, you know, we've been together 24 years, and I'll say something from my ego or like lash out at her, and then to come back into my body and say, I'm sorry, that's not who I am or who I want to be, and own that part from the neck down of that we do come and respond from the ego sometimes, and the more that we train at it and acknowledge those times that we say something or do something that may be from a trigger or from a wound of your past, that you're less likely to be driven by it on a day-to-day basis. So through sitting every single day in the morning when you wake up, that's the time when you boot the nervous system and you boot your relationship with your mind and your body, that you can go throughout your day being just like you are sitting in zazen or seated meditation here throughout your whole entire day. And how is that to be in that relationship? It's not that it's stopping, it's that it's a continual learning and deepening in relationship, just like it is with people. Your ego and your body is that relationship, just like it is with people. So when you sit and notice your mind, you know, sometimes I smile when I really notice my mind being active and say, I see you, you're there, thank you. It's just kind of like I'll do this one, just a little on the sides of the cheek there. Just give a smile at it, like thank you, and then I'll focus my attention back on my breath and my hara. So leaving the ego at the door to actually acknowledge that you're not letting it drive the bus for the time being when you're in here. And then when you bow, some of us are bowing when we go out, that can you notice, oh, I can take that whole idea with me out into the world, because we're doing this to train to be in relationship with everything that's happening out there. And it's can be some turbulent times right now. And so to really not be caught up in the day-to-day thinking can be a really softening on the nervous system and calm the body down so it's not in fight or flight all the time. And so I encourage you to enter the dojo wherever you go and to practice being in seated meditation, even when you're standing, gardening, uh, being in interactions with other people, the sauna, the gym, my relationship. To practice everywhere is the dojo, and my relationship with my mind and my body, and deep listening throughout the whole entire day. So leave your ego at the door. Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Great. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll move into our next meditation. Thank you all for being here again. Remember to fluff your pillows and dust off your mat if there's any lint or dust on there. And practice every day, even if it's for 3 breaths, and 20 minutes is optimum. So the dojo is everywhere. All right, let's do this.